with the Furbies. What does it feel like to what was more rewarding, almost winning that Oscar or making Furby relevant for the first time in 30 years, man? What did it feel good bringing Furby back? What did that feel like to you?
There is no question about it that the best thing was bringing Furby
You guys got
back.
Furby trending.
Yes, like you can melt 17 different Oscars and make it into one giant Oscar, and it will not be as gratifying as making that scene. Because I remember we were making that scene, and when we were doing it in the boards, like it was like this is fucking wild.
Yes.
It was fucking crazy. And I kept telling Mike, like, I'm like, do we have the rights to the Furby? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. Let's keep going. Let's
We'll
just make
figure it out.
ourselves laughs. And we did. And then as you know, as we started getting closer into production, it's like, so do we have the Lego? And I was like, nah, I guess we're gonna have to like talk to Hasbro now. And Hasbro, I think it took a while for us to communicate with them. But then eventually Hasbro approved, and then as the approval came to be, we started like lighting stuff up. That's when things started getting very fucking serious. Because
Yeah.
like while you're watching this in the boards, you're like, this is silly. But then you're having people in Canada and in LA, and they're like building the Furby. I'm like, there's a wow, they built a Furby, okay. And then like they light it, and then they animate it, and then they add these special effects. Which, by the way, I for some reason this is such a weird thing. I thought the Furbies had like little sparklers in their mouths, and my wife was like, "No, they don't. Where did you get that idea?" I'm like, "Oh, never mind. Okay." And so they kind of like spit sparkle, and that's what justified the laser.
Yeah.
And by that time that I was like, "Oh, they don't do that," it was too late. Like they were already lighting the giant Furby. And I remember one of the days I remember the most was like them putting all of the pieces together in editorial, and Phil turning around to Mike and saying, "Don't say you don't get everything in life, man. Like you literally have a scene with a Furby shooting lasers at a mall, destroying half of the whole mall. Like this is an animated movie, and I think it was just like it was like this is just a crazy concept. But then when they added music and they added like this the sound effects, I was like, this is the best, this is I've reached Nirvana, I've reached the pinnacle of whatever of art. Um, but it was, yeah, that it was such a gratifying thing that almost didn't happen. And we used to have like that gap between finding out if like finding out when we were finding out if we could get the rights to the Furby, we were coming up with different ideas. We were just like we had screenings where we had Tickle Me Elmo's, which was this like Tickle Me Elmo ripoff that was kind of like an Immortan Joe from Mad Max, and he had created his own
That's more terrifying than the Furby, by the way.
yeah, it was a new world order that he created with all the appliances. By this time, the appliances had come to life early on in the movie. So by the time that we got to the mall, they had their own ecosystem and they had their own rules. And it was like Lord of the Flies with appliances. And then like when the family got captured, you